Hello and welcome to Washington, D.C.'s Union Station. Today we're heading south to the Deep South, traveling on Amtrak's Palmetto from here to Savannah, Georgia. Our journey begins here at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station, the southern terminus of the Northeast Corridor and the portal for Northeast trains continuing on to point south. Serving 90 Amtrak services daily and over 5.2 million Amtrak passengers annually, DC Union Station is Amtrak's second busiest, both by train frequency and by passenger number. I have never visited this station and not been in awe of the main hall. It is absolutely stunning. 96 feet high and 240 feet long, the main hall is the centerpiece of the station, encapsulating that golden era of rail travel. If only more stations looked like this. A shopping area, food court, and ticketing services occupy the historic departure hall, its 3 levels sitting beneath yet another beautiful ceiling. At the rear of the station are the boarding areas for DC's 18 platforms. Amtrak uses a gate system for boarding, with gates announced around 20 minutes before departure. Trains heading south from DC depart from the low-level platforms on the east side of the station. While there is a small waiting area for said platforms near gates H through L, we can access the platforms early by heading to gate G and out to tracks 25 and 26. And here's our train, Amtrak Palmetto number 89. Will be led south by ALC 42 number 375, behind which are 4 Amfleet 2s, a cafe car, a business class car, and a baggage car. Now, we may be joining the Palmetto here in DC, but the journey began for many back in New York City. Normally, the train stops here for about 30 minutes to swap from electric to diesel, but due to construction on the new Long Bridge over the Potomac River, the train sits here for nearly 3 hours. But we don't have to worry about that, as we'll be heading out in about 25 minutes. After checking with the conductor, we climb aboard and find a seat, our home for the next 11.5 hours. With everyone on board, the Palmetto wraps up its 3-hour hold and pulls out of DC, beginning our ride south. Departing DC, we'll head across the Potomac, following it to Fredericksburg, continuing inland to Richmond, the state capital, in our first fresh air break. We parallel I-95 through Southern Virginia and into North Carolina. Through Selma, we split away from the Floridian and Carolinian, our train reaching Fayetteville in the final moments of sunset. Twilight becomes darkness as we reach South Carolina, the city of Florence, our second fresh air break on the Palmetto. From there, it's quiet nighttime cruising, the final miles disappearing as we cross into Georgia, arriving in Savannah at the end of the line. We'll cover a total of 604 miles on our ride today, with a travel time of 11 hours and 26 minutes. The construction causing all of these delays is immediately visible as we approach the Potomac River. Crews are out laying the groundwork, though the main bridge will sit between the current line and the Metro Bridge just north of us. Crossing the Potomac is always a great sight, except for when it immediately gets blocked by a freight train, though not sure how much we'd be able to see through these super dirty windows. Well, with nothing to see besides a passing freight train, let's take a second to look at our onboard accommodation. As a long-distance train, the Palmetto operates Amtrak's Amfleet 2 long-distance cars. These coaches feature increased legroom and leg rests for improved comfort on longer journeys. Each seat includes a footrest, seat back pocket, and tray table, all of which are built into the seat in front. Outlets are found along the walls, with reading lights built into the luggage racks overhead. Each seat reclines around 25 degrees using the button on the armrest. Beneath the seat is the leg rest, which ratchets up into place. The upholstery is also beefed up to support longer travels. Each seat includes thick padding on the back and bottom, the newer long-distance vinyl giving everything a higher quality finish. Outside of seating, Amfleet 2s offer trash cans on each end of the car, with a large luggage rack, accessible seating, and 2 bathrooms located at the rear. Each bathroom includes a toilet on one side, a vanity on the other, the accessible adding plenty of extra space. Departure from DC is right around lunchtime, so I could really use something to eat. A few cars back is the cafe. Amfleet cafes include 2 sections of tables with a bar in the middle. While this is a long-distance train, the cafe still serves the standard Northeast menu. For lunch, I went with a newer choice, the chicken banh mi sandwich and a Coke Zero, which set me back $13. Pricey. The sandwich is fresh and flavorful, though a little more sauce would have been welcome. Condiment packets are available, but ketchup, mayo, and mustard don't really mix well with the Asian flavors. But it's a solid choice, and I'll have to add it to my usual Amtrak meal rotation. As we chow down, the Potomac pulls up by our side. When traveling south from DC, I recommend a seat on the left side of the train. Keep an eye out for the Marine Corps Air Base south of Quantico Station. The MV-22 Osprey on base are a pretty cool sight. The crossing of the Aquia Creek marks the end of our run alongside the Potomac River and the end of the most scenic portion of the ride. From here south, it's just trees and farmland, bar one incredible river crossing south of Richmond. While scenery can do wonders for the enjoyment of the journey, what about helping yourself in the enjoyment of your life? Most New Year's resolutions fade by February, but real change doesn't come from becoming someone new. It comes from small, consistent habits that create growth over time. That small thing manifests differently in everyone. For me, it's eating healthier and exercising more. I know my body won't change overnight, but I can aim to be 1% better than the day before. Sure, it's taken months, but I feel leaner, fitter, and better about myself because of it. Mental health works in the same way. You won't become the person you want to see overnight, but you can make small improvements that compound from day to day. It often takes guidance from a licensed therapist to help find those improvements, which is why I'm pleased to introduce today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the leading platform connecting you to licensed therapists in a matter of days. Fill out a questionnaire on their website, and BetterHelp will match you with a therapist based on your preferences, their own clinical experience, and over a decade of matching expertise. And it's easy to switch therapists at any time at no extra cost if they're not the right fit. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/LoneStar and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video, and now back to our journey. The cruise through Virginia is broken by a few landmarks, namely Fredericksburg and later Ashland. Ashland, as many regular viewers know, is home to a virtual Railfan railcam, and a trip through here wouldn't be complete without pulling up the stream and watching our train trundle past. About 20 minutes later, we're pulling into Richmond. Richmond is the first of 2 fresh air breaks we'll have en route to Savannah. And while we're stopped in Richmond, we're hardly in the city. This is Richmond Staple Mill Station, located about 6.5 miles northwest of the Virginia Capitol Building. Richmond Main Street is the other station serving the capital city and is located just 2 blocks from the Capitol Building. But that station sees hardly any traffic, as through trains can't easily access the tracks heading south. Climbing back aboard, we head south once more, crossing the James River as we go. While our lunch was good, it wasn't really filling, so it's back to the cafe for something more. While I could have gone for a snack, that Amburger was calling my name. The Amburger is, well, an Amtrak cheeseburger, and is the quintessential cafe item. There's something so comforting, so Amtrak about the burger. It doesn't look great, but it's way better than it should be. Throw on a couple condiments and you've got the best burger on the rails. The landscapes outside look the same as they did hours ago, but in that time, we transitioned to a new state, North Carolina. Many of the stops here are in small rural towns, our train exchanging a few passengers before continuing on. Selma is the dividing point for trains on the eastern and western routes through the Carolinas. Trains heading inland take a sharp turn west, the diamonds of their new route visible outside our window. We'll be sticking to the eastern tracks, the two routes reconverging in Savannah. While we've enjoyed daylight for much of this journey, we must finish it in darkness. The sun begins to set as we approach Fayetteville, twilight fading to darkness in Dillon, South Carolina. With the sun gone, it's time for dinner. For our final meal, the mac and cheese and a beer. A ton of carbs and a ton of flavor. The mac and cheese is one of, if not my favorite cafe option. Florence, South Carolina is our last chance to step off the train before our arrival in Savannah. There's not much to see this late at night, but if you're lucky, you might just make a new friend.
Hi, buddy.
It may be almost 200 miles from Florence to Savannah, but the quiet night sees those miles pass in what feels like minutes. A stop in Kingstree, another in Charleston, and a third in Yamasee divide this last leg, the lights of Savannah Station welcoming us at the end of the line. Grabbing our bags, we follow the line of passengers off the train and out into the humid Georgia air. With our journey now at an end, it's time to bring today's video to a close. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my loyal patrons and members. Y'all are amazing and your incredible generosity is greatly appreciated. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.